All right, the next project we're going to be doing is going to be something that I call the island scene. The basic idea is that you're going to be taking all of your previous projects and putting them all together into a single scene. So you're going to create a landscape, you're going to add a hut, which is your house, you're going to add a person into the scene, a palm tree, which is something you're actually going to have to create for the scene, and then the beach ball. So we've actually made all of these things largely, except for the palm tree. It's something you'll have to recreate. Now, most of these things, you're not going to want to recreate them from scratch. You're going to want to use your previous projects. So, how do I add in another project? What you do is you actually append. So I'm going to append something into this scene. So on my desktop, I have a couple of projects here. So let's say I want to go get the person. I'm going to go into the object itself here. And now camera is not it, lamp is not it, but there's this circle and this cube. Well, which one is it? If I go and actually open that project separately, if I go look up here at the scene up here, there are two different objects. There's the cube and there's this thing here, which it turns out is the circle right there. So I actually need to, if you don't like the names of these things, because this was the original name given when you added the mesh in, you can rename these. So I could have like body, hat. So when I save this, so I'm going to call this B2, put it on my desktop. So notice there it's actually been changed. When I go into a new scene and try and append it in, append from my desktop, person 2, object. Now I can actually tell what these things are. So if I go grab my person, there we go. Now, he's kind of giant. So keep in mind that whatever the original model scale was, you're going to have that coming in. So let's delete that out. You can always scale it down, though, of course, and rotate it and all those things, and move it around in your scene. So separately, I'll have to also append his hat. There we go. Maybe I want to join these two. If I do, it's Control-J to join. Maybe I don't. It depends on what I'm going to do with this person, like if his hat is flying off his head or whatever it is. Now, there's another scene that I brought in, which was a house. So here's an issue with this house. It's awesome looking, but it is also made up of a bunch of different objects. So if I want to actually bring this in, rather than trying to put those in all at once, what I may want to do is actually link them together. So what I probably want to do is actually grab a bunch of these and link them together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select by clicking on the little mesh icon here and hold down Shift to select a bunch of these. So that's all the little trees as the cones. Cone is, the cube is my main one. I'll come back to you in just a sec, cube. After I select everything else. Click, 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 click. All right, I think I'm not going to include the plane. I'm just going to include all of this. And so I'm going to make sure the last thing I click on to highlight it is the cube. Notice it's actually highlighted all those things. I don't want to select the camera or the lamp because you can't join those to a model. And then I'm going to join them by hitting Control-J. And now they are all a cube. So now if I actually want to append this into my other scene, well, I better save this first. So let's also save this as a version 2 just in case, because I am paranoid. If I go back to my other scene and say, hey, why don't you link in or append in this awesome house that I have? And that was cube I ended up putting it into. Look, it's a giant cube. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to use this technique to actually put all of your models into a single scene. The basic idea is you'll grab your hills and volcanoes that you made. You can alter that obviously after you put it in. You'll have a person, you'll have your house, you'll have the beach ball, and then you'll create your own version of a palm tree, whatever that may be.